Self-inquiry gives us the opportunity to always enter in the moment, the deepest state of meditation. In this video, I want to talk about how we can create an analogy that will help us to see how self-inquiry allows us to enter and be in that state of effortless meditation, which is the result of simply asking the question, who am I in the moment? Now, this question is what creates the threshold in which we can move into our true being and see everything that we're not for what it is. Usually, our thoughts are defining us, our emotions, what we feel. We can see this as a train of thoughts, experience, and we ourselves are invested in it or are on board the train. And when we are on board of the train, we see that everything that the train brings is what we are. So in other words, we are identified with the train of thoughts, the narrative that is playing. This is normal, and the vast majority of us lived our lives thinking, believing that we are that we are defined by thought in the moment. We never question this. And the moment we begin to question it is where we create this threshold in which we can move out of the train. So again, the question, who am I, puts into doubt the fact that I am defined by thoughts. And we see this as we ask the question, who am I? There may be an answer. Very likely, it'll come up as a train that will capture you and will get you on board again. I am this. Question it again. Am I really that? And another one will fashion itself and bring you on board. The more it does this, the more you see that you are being pulled into a train. You are being identified with a thought, with an answer. But that doesn't make sense because you were before the thought. So if you are before the thought, are you really that? Are you really that answer? The more we question this, we're simply putting into doubt the fact that I am defined by thought. I don't need to know what I am. I just need to know that I am not the thought that arises, and it continues to arise. And we see that this is happening, as it were, conditioned by so many years, not days, we wish, but years of reconditioning that have been reinforcing this idea that we are that. So the more we begin to see that, the more the lie or the falsehood of limited identity begins to crumble. Now, we do see that it's normal for us to be in that train of thought. And the moment we question, who am I? That threshold is created. And when you realize, the moment you realize that you're not the thought, you're off the train. Every time you're off the train, you see the opportunity of being without thought. Thought is fine. The train can keep moving. You're not on board. And you can be pulled again into the train and be immersed in the narrative, and you are that, and you are the one, then the commentator, always talking, dialogues, and so on. Your identity is still in there. Bring it back. Am I really that? Who is it that's witnessing this conversation? Who is it that's witnessing this criticism or judgment? Whatever it is that the narrative is playing, whatever the train is that you are on board, always get off by asking the question, am I really that? Or am I the one witnessing it? So every time you come off the train, now you're reinforcing something that is permanently going to stay in your being, which is your true identity. The way this feels, you have to experience it. You have to feel how it is to be without identity limited by thought. Every time you get off the train, how does it feel? That begins to permeate our experience, our life. because we know more and more that we are that. Or in another way, we stop believing chronically that we are what the mind is saying, what thoughts are defining. It is a double way to see it. In both cases, the same thing is happening, is that truth of being is shining. Your true identity is shining. And it all starts because we ask the question, am I really that? And you can see this at any moment when the mind is constantly talking to you and explaining you and defining you and trying to move you. Those are the conditioned patterns that have been, again, invested with so much identity that they feel like we are that. And we continue to act and react and be that way. But the more we question this, the more there is a distance, a pause between that reactivity, that behavior, that attitude, those thoughts, and ourselves. This distance is precisely getting off the train. There's a distance between you and the train. The train may be very convincing, very enticing, and you may fall into it, fine. The moment you realize that, you're off the train again. Your meditation practice becomes the capacity to see this happening all the time. Every time it happens, you're off the train. You don't have to do anything. Simply noticing that you're on board of the train. You're thinking, I am this, I am that, I should have done. Who is this I? Am I really that? Am I really the responsible, the victim, the culprit? Am I really the accountable for this? Am I really the owner of these emotions and everything? Just question it, watch it. And again, you're not turning away from the train. You can still watch the train move. That's fine. And in fact, it's better if you do, because now you can recognize more and more when the train comes up and it invites you over, and you naturally just condition patterns, move into that. You get off the train again. And that's it. There is no failing. Never feel that you're failing because you're on the train again. Notice that that is actually a success in your meditation, because the moment you notice that you were on board the train, you're already off the train. You cannot know that you're on the train if you don't have the contrast of being outside of the train. And just simply let that be your experience in meditation, where there is no failure. There is no way to do wrong meditation. The only thing is to stop this activity or this recognition of self and move into something else. And you will always see that that happens because the mind has convinced you to be something else. I'm not saying stop doing all your appointments and all your duties in life. I'm simply saying that when you have the time and you're moved out of meditation, it's always because a thought compels you to move away. Time is always allocated to a particular meditation practice, so use that always. But your time in meditation should be in noticing how this happens. It's not your fault. It's just condition. All we're doing is deconditioning that to remain as you are, because the question always brings you to clarity. So again, just to recap, it's a very useful way to see in our meditation practice how thoughts are simply running and there is identity with it. And the more we see and question, am I really that? You are taking inertia from the train. Most importantly, you're not identifying with it. Thoughts can continue to come, but you remain as what you are. I hope this is helpful for your practice, and I'll see you in the next video.